to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good. Well, I hope everybody made it back on with us. Not sure why the webinar closed down. Hopefully we won't have that problem again during the course of the event. I appreciate your patience with us. And it looks like everybody kind of the reset captured everybody back in, so hopefully we're in good shape. But as I was saying before we got cut off there, and again, I'm not sure how much you couldn't hear during that little brief delay. As I was saying, there are some definite advantages to the Retirement Boss Radio or radio in general that I think as we go through here today, you'll kind of surmise and see how that can help you grow your business. So I'm glad that you all have joined us here today. Thank you for that. We'll have Dave Pimper. I think he's going to come in today, so he'll be live with us. And he'll be in here in just a little bit. As we're getting started, a couple things I just want to go over. For those of you that are familiar with these programs, this is going to be a little bit of a review, but there are a number of folks on that are not. So I want to make sure that you're familiar with some of the programs and some of the ways that we can help you, for instance, with some of the cost of any of your marketing, including Retirement Boss Radio. So we got a couple of programs that I'm sure you want to be aware of. If you refer a producer and that producer gets appointed with us, then we're going to go ahead and send you a little bit of a cash reward for that. But as they do business, that's when the rewards really start to pile up. So you're going to see over time that we'll start sending you checks on a quarterly basis, and it's basically a small percentage of check based on the business they do, whether it's life or annuity or whatever it is that they do. We're going to put some money into your RPM, and we're going to just automatically send you that check quarterly. So if you have any colleague in the business that you think might benefit from some things that we're doing, we hope that you'll certainly take some time and mention our name to them. Let me know that you've mentioned, or your sales director know that you've mentioned our name to them, and then we'll record that when they call in, or when you give us their number, we call them, they get appointed, we'll send you a check, and then they'll be in there as your referral, and you'll gain that referral bonus. Nothing comes out of your referee's pocket on that. That's strictly from our standpoint. We kind of consider that advertising money that we pay out to you. So take advantage of that. Marketing reimbursement, again, another way, a more obvious way that you can get money to increase your marketing. Any business that you do with us, what happens is that we put money in your marketing reimbursement account. Anytime that you have some marketing expenses, you simply send us in the receipt and we send you a check. We basically match your marketing dollar spend dollar for dollar. So we'd love you to take advantage of those two programs, get some little extra money in your pocket from the team here at IAMS. 3 levels that you can for the new producers out there that you can claim at, the $100,000, $300,000, $500,000 level. You can see what you can gain at each one of those levels, whichever one you decide to claim at. Anything from getting you in the seminar business around Social Security, or Ritz-Carlton vacation, new iPad, getting you in the seminar business on the Social Security side. A lot of different things that we can do for you. You kind of notice that we've tailored those to things that can help you further grow your business. You may have another idea that is not shown here, something else that you currently do. We can also attribute your new producer dollars towards that as well. So as you can see, a bit of a lost leader for us as you get rolling with us, but we're okay with that. We think it's really important from our standpoint that you recognize what we can do to help you grow your business and what we can do to nurse your business through the system and make sure you're properly taken care of. We think that will create for you enough interest that you want to continue to do business with us for years and years to come. That's been a lot of our experience. So that's why we do that. Hopefully you'll take advantage of any of our new producer builders, or if there's something else that you would prefer to do, you can give your sales director a call and we'll certainly work that through the system and consider that as well. As I mentioned just briefly a moment ago, we have great back office support here. We've got, I think, some of the best in the industry, frankly, and I think a lot of our competitors would agree with that. We put a lot of effort and time into it. We want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to support your business. So any part of that business, whether it's in the initial case design, making sure that you have all the right forms and licensure and training that you need, working your business through the system once you submit it all the way through to issue. And I think more importantly than that, once the business has gotten issued and actually, staying on the companies until it gets to the commission phase. We feel like we get our guys paid 15 to 20 to 25% quicker on average, and in some cases, days and weeks quicker than what they might through another FMO. And a lot of guys put a lot of value on that. A lot of guys that maybe have hired folks for that in the past have pretty much found out that they don't need to do that because of our support that we grant here. So hopefully we can save you some money that way as well. Great way to do your business. You're going to be happy with the attention that your business gets as it's going through the IAM system for sure. Creative marketing solutions, things that you need to be aware of that we do there, and that are kind of shown for you there on the screen. But what I would say in regard to that is just in general, if you would think of IAMS having a small advertising and public relations firm built for its producers right internally that you can take advantage of, we're going to take care of every cost that we can, do as much of that on a pro bono basis as makes sense. A lot of guys use marketing reimbursement for the things like letterhead printing and things like that actually have a cost to them, which is great. But it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish. It's probably happened that another producer has tried to accomplish something with us very similarly, and so we've got the expertise in-house to make that a simple and really in some ways kind of a magical process for you. I always talk to the guys and gals in that part of our business, and we talk about how what they do and the quality of what they can accomplish and the way that can make you look from a just a persona in your area when it's done so well can really be a great thing. It is almost magical from our standpoint because we don't always understand how they do it, but they do a great job with it. It's things as simple and as basic as a logo all the way to getting your Facebook advertising right or getting your website built just the way you want to. They can do all of that, and like I said, from our standpoint, we're going to do it as cheap or no cost whenever we can, because we're firmly believe, which I know many producers don't always agree with this in the field, we firmly believe that it's such an important part of building the foundation of your business that we put a lot of effort and time into that, and we hope you do as well. I want to make sure that you're all aware of what we do on the website. We got some really great stuff out there, and it's improving every day. Soon you'll see a direct link to Firelight, which is an online e-app system that most carriers use. So you can just come into the website, your website, and pull up the information and do your e-apps right from there, which is a very much easier way to do that. You'll see that probably before this month is out. We have a lot of tools on there. We've added IAM Sales Library, which is awesome. A lot of great stuff that you can use with your clients. A lot of great information and ideas that are out there for you. By the way, that is under the support section of the website under IAM Sales Resource Library. Great stuff out there. You can run term quotes from there. You can get on our annuity sales engine so you can see all the latest and greatest annuity information, kind of select based on your criteria. So a lot of great stuff out there. You do have to register very soon, besides the Firelight app, which will be very important that you're registered on the website, and that's personalized for you. But very soon you'll also be able to see your business. So we need you to register and have a password so that only you can see what you should be seeing. So take advantage of the website for those of you that have not already. If you need some help, or if you want to spend some time with a sales director, they can walk you through how to best use that to your benefit for your particular business. We use a retirement analyzer. Take a peek at it. Call Marcus Soller if you want. It's a great tool, very comprehensive retirement planning tool that you can use with your clients. We're doing that for our producers right now at no cost. So if you want to get in there and take a peek on it, maybe do one or two of them, see if it's something that you can use with additional clients. It's a great tool, and again, we're making that available to our producers at no cost. You can see some of the things that you can do with that right before you on the screen, so I don't need to go over those. Suffice it to say that it's a pretty comprehensive, very graphic way that you can work with your clients, and it kind of takes you out of a one and done type of approach with your clients to more of a retirement planner and a little bit of a ongoing advice to your clients. So give Marcus Soller a call and have him show you the link to that. He'll get it out to you, spend a little time with it. He'll walk you through some things. If you want to do a little training with me, I'd be glad to do that as well. It really a great service of being licensed with insurance agency marketing services. Wealth management, I'm going to not do a poll on this one here today. I know that you probably all have seen the things recently from the SEC where they've kind of are moving along the best interest modified fiduciary requirements. So you want to pay attention to that. Part of that is probably going to make you really find it desirable to offer more than just insurance products in the future. One way, probably the easiest and the best way that you can do that is to consider getting your 65. We can help you with that process. If you got your 65 and you're looking for a more friendly firm in terms of fee payouts and monthly costs, I think you'll want to talk to the boys at IAMS Wealth. If you're looking for a little bit better service and maybe what you're getting from your current RIA, I think you'll want to take some time and talk with the boys over at IAMS Wealth. A lot of good reasons to talk with them. If you maybe your background is insurance and maybe you are an IAR, but not having the best luck in converting to being able to work in the investment world, we do that all day long, and I know that we can definitely help you with that and help you grow that business, part of your business rapidly. So if any of those is the case for you, I hope you'll give us a call and just ask for Charles or Mike over at IAMS Wealth, and they can spend some time with you and help you through that process. So give us a call if that is of interest to you. The number again is 800-255-5055. I am going to put up just a quick poll on this, and then we're going to get to our time with Dave. So we do academies, and we do them fairly regularly, and we've got next one coming up scheduled is in September 18th through the 20th. If you have interest in joining us for academy, I don't have a poll for that. So what I'm going to ask you to do, you see the 800 number there. If you want to join us for an academy, give us a call, ask for your sales director, and just tell them to send you a sample agenda and a registration form. And you look at the agenda, that'll give you the kind of the hour by hour breakdown of what we talk about. If that's something that is of interest to you, you complete the registration form, and then we will call you as academy opportunities come up. We usually run about 3 or 4 of them a year, really are kind of sought after in the industry right now. I will say that if you have been to one of our academies in the past, I would ask that if it's been less than 2 years, it makes it pretty hard for us to have you come back in. Not that things don't change in a couple of years, but we want to give as many people as we can the opportunity to join us. We do take care of your expenses, so we'll take care of your travel. We'll arrange it. We'll take care of your hotel, and we'll take care of your meals while you're there with us as well. So I think you'll find it very beneficial if you have not been in. If you have and you want to come back in and it's been less than 2 years, why don't you give me a call at the office, 800-255-5055. Otherwise, just call for your sales director and ask for the current agenda and a registration form. Okay, so now let's talk about Retirement Boss Radio with Dave Pemper. Dave is here live this morning. So I'm going to hand over the headset to him shortly. I'm going to give you a little background from our perspective on what Dave has accomplished for our producers on the coaching side. So as many of you know, Dave has coached on the seminar side primarily. He's coached on practice management for us as well and helped a lot of our producers in that way. So done some great jobs with our producers, many of our producers over the years. And I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that he is himself a regular, consistent, and prolific producer on both the annuity side or the, let's say, the insurance side and the securities side. So he spans the entire financial services market and does a great job on both sides himself. So when you're talking with Dave, you're talking to somebody that produces just the way that you do, and I think that's valuable. He's also a very good coach, so I've gotten great feedback from our guys and just the value of the communication that goes on and very organized in his approach, and I think that's a credit to his team. He's got 2 or 3 folks that he counts on to make sure that everybody is taken care of on all facets of whether it's a seminar or radio, to make sure that we don't have any bumps in the road. We're big believers in that. We think coaching is key to success, whether you're talking about radio or seminars, and we have no doubt yet one of the better coaches in the industry with Dave and his team at Lazarus Coaching. So let's turn it over to Dave, let him get into the specifics of Retirement Boss Radio and how you can use that to build your business. With that, let me turn it over to Mr. Dave Pimper.
Okay, switcheroo on the headphones. How's everybody doing today? Friday. We got a pretty good crowd today, and I tell you what, that's a credit maybe to IAMS, a credit to the producer who wants to increase their business, or just hear a little more about maybe how radio can come into play to really make a difference in the production of your office, whether it's a single man office, one office, or there's multiple. So what happens is, and I am just going to really quickly from on myself. I got in the business in 1981, so that's a lot of years ago, and I've seen a lot of things happen within the financial service arena. I do more securities business personally than I do insurance. In my main insurance business, 20-25% of my business is fixed and fixed indexed annuities. I use it for the guarantee portion of portfolio, that when they want to have a lock or they want to go in and have an anchor to their portfolio. But what happens in our business is that to be successful in this business, it's two-part. One, of course, you need to have enough knowledge about the product and about the industry and economies, etc. But you have to get in front of enough people to be able to tell and to show that story. And what happens of what's the most important between those two? Well, as a coach, all day long, I'll take a person that is average on their sales skills, or even below average on their sales skills, but they work like the devil and get in front of all kinds of people. I'll take that all day long than from someone who is extremely good at their sales skills, extremely smart, knows everything about the subject, but they get in front of very few people. They cannot let the numbers work for them in that manner. So from a seminar side, and since the mid 80s, this is even though it's a round figure, but I've done exactly 500 public seminars since 84, 85. I didn't do my first 4 or 5 years, and I'm talking about public seminars. But seminars have been very, very good to me, and the majority, not all my seminars now, but a lot of them, the majority are gearing around Social Security, because it's a very misunderstood subject. And in fact, within the next couple of weeks, we're rolling out a program with Social Security seminars that will include getting 35 to 45 folks to 2 nights. It's including the software for 3 months of Social Security, including my coaching, and there's going to be about a give or take $1,300 to $1,500 savings than what the cost was before. I just got done testing 2 different workshops, and I've already written 2 pieces of business from my first one, about almost $400,000, and I'm just taking appointments right now, but that will be coming up. So let's talk about radio. A lot of people think that radio is out of the question because the cost is going to be too high, but I'm going to tell you right now, truly nothing could be further from the truth. You got to ask yourself, why radio? Well, first of all, radio touches a tremendous amount of people throughout the United States. So get a load of this, believe it or not. Radio reaches more Americans than any other type of platform, including your cell phone, your TV, personal computer, TV connected devices, radio. Everyone, I mean, of age probably 50 and above, really listen to the radio. Now, what happens is when you're younger, and I work with a pre-retired and retired crowd, that's who this really revolves around. So if you're working with folks that are 20, 25, 30 years of age, This is not going to be nearly as strong as if you're working with that pre-retired and just retired age. The median age is 61, and I think the average age I work with is between 60 and 63, so it's a perfect age. Radio, AM radio in particular, talk radio, goes in it touches a higher income level of listener. $75,000 or above for household income. So it's pretty strong. And when you come in and you're doing a seminar, and I'm not against seminars at all. I do a seminar 9 or 10 months out of the year. I'll have a seminar marketing. But what happens is when you come in and you give that seminar, there's certainly people look at you and say, hey, that guy's pretty sharp with the subject matter he's talking about. But when you're on radio or television, but when you're on radio, really it kind of solidifies you that you are the expert. And I have to smile about this. I did business with this fella, almost 300,000 worth, but on the second appointment, he said, well, I've just met you. I mean, how do I even know that you're legit? And I didn't say anything. And he goes, well, you know what? And I'm on a station called KFAB. It's a big 50,000 watt Rush Limbaugh AM news talk station. And he goes, well, gosh, if KFAB have you on, then I'm sure that you're okay. Well, does the radio station do any vetting whatsoever? No, vetting in my pocketbook, as long as I can pay the bill each and every month. Yeah. But that's the view. Hey, if he's on KFAB, that's something special. It makes him an expert. It makes him that he's been vetted. And so it really kind of puts you become almost like celebrity status. That's completely different than from a seminar system. I'll tell you, news radio, it's hot. And there's much more news radio from the conservative nature than from the liberal nature. But all of us, whether you be conservative or liberal, what happens is that makes no difference when you're working with money. You're trying to go in and do the very best for that person, whatever his political persuasion. So what happens is that the big markets are normally, more of it, of course, is conservative talk than it is from liberal talk. But it's the go-to listing choice to many, many Americans. And this is just to back up that stat because I think it's wild. This comes from the Nielsen report. All the big stations pay Nielsen to go in and to look at their listenership. But look at radio versus TV, it's higher. Radio versus smartphones, it's higher. Radio versus PC, TV connected devices, tablets. Isn't that, to me, that when I first heard that, I thought, wow, isn't that something? Just so you know, I also did 11 years of live radio. It was on a small AM station in a town of 50,000. We did it from 7:15 to 8 every single Saturday morning. And it was really kind of a loving hands from home. My goal there truly was not to drive business and appointments. My goal with that show was to get well known in this town. And I certainly made my money back easily and a return on my investment, but nothing like I'm doing now, because the goal of Retirement Boss Radio is to get appointments during the show. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. You got to look at who's on AM radio. The biggest of all folks is Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Kim Commando, Dave Ramsey, Rick Edelman. It goes on and on and on. But during the week, those are normally nationally syndicated shows, and then you may have a local person to do 2 or 3 hours. Usually, and we want the weekend when we're not competing against that. Now, could there be other financial shows, or there could be legal shows, or ministry shows, or realty shows, computer shows? Absolutely. But I was just looking on one of the days, I'm one of 4 financial folks that are on Sunday. And if you look on Saturday, out of the really 8 to 10 prime hours, there's another 4 financial shows on. So you're not going to be the only one there. And the reason the other folks are there, and all of the ones that are in Omaha are pretty big hitters. I mean, they're doing very well. Omaha, Nebraska. That's where I'm at. I'm actually doing this live in West Omaha in IAMS. I have an office in Omaha and an office in Fremont, Nebraska, where I grew up about 30 miles away. But the reason those big boys are on radio is because they have exposure and they're making money. It's the bottom line. Don't let anybody kid you. Now, there's three parts of our radio show, three main parts. You have a media buyer, a radio time buyer, that person, and I'm going to tell you what, the fellow that I found, he's one of the top in the industry. He's highly knowledgeable. His family, grandpa, and his dad, they owned radio stations, and when he graduated from college, he elected to go into the media buying instead of buying the hard asset radio station. He has over 400 shows that he has purchased radio for time every single week. There is not a market that he doesn't know and doesn't have a contact. I would say that's 100,000 or over in the United States. He is just a breath of information. He also does help us with some of the production, some of the production concerns and some of the production flow also. So when he goes in and negotiates, he negotiates things like, I'm telling you, I mean, he goes in and he negotiates, I think I have 10 or 15 or 20 radio spots promoting my show every week. I know that I was able to get on holidays. I know that either I get halftime, or I pay half of on all major holidays and even minor holidays, even like Mother's Day. He goes in and I got to where when I started, he contacted the radio station, and I got about a 10 or 12 minute kind of a promo live with the big time radio host, with this local station. So he adds a lot of value. I know sometimes, not always, sometimes he can get a reduction in the first maybe 4 to 6 months, and then it goes up to what the real charge is. So no way you can do it yourself. I mean, unless you are the radio owner or your brother is. I've got over 25 years of radio, 12 of that. 11 to 12, like 11 and a half years was in live radio. And then I let that go. And then I went in and picked up a kind of a Paul Harvey in the News market commentary that was recorded. Now, our show was recorded. I'll tell you what, having a live show is extremely hard to do because you have to be extremely dedicated to give up every week at that time period. And I'll tell you, our show sounds very, very live. So there's the media buyer. Then you have the production company, and we have a separate production company, and they supply our co-host. So our co-host, we have everyone with Retirement Boss Radio uses the same co-host, and he's really the color guy. He keeps it going. He keeps it fun. He keeps it lively. He keeps the kind of fun. He keeps it upbeat. And what happens is all of the kudos go upon the host of the show, meaning i.e. you or me or who the producer is. And so that back and forth makes it a much more interesting show. They also supply weekly, very timely show notes. And I take those show notes and I put it into easy to understand in kind of bullet point form. Plus, of course, I'm in the business day in and day out for production. This morning, I mean, I had 3 appointments back to back. 2 were Retirement Boss Radio appointments, and 1 was Social Security appointments. My goal is to have a new appointment every single day, and that new business coming into your practice is so important. So that production company, they're the ones that when they get the raw recording, then they edit it. They take out any mistakes. They make sure it's the right time, exactly an hour. They go on in and they add advertisements on there. That is your name, your phone number. They're really cool. And what happens then? Then when we say we're going to open up the phone lines, everything's recorded. But then when they call in to the toll free, like my number's 888-975-2677. That 2677 is boss, because our name of our show is Retirement Boss Radio, and the tagline is take charge of your money. So we'll say, hey, let's open up the phone lines, and then we'll give the offer, and we'll say, call 888-975-2677. That's 888-975-BOSS, 2677. I'll tell you, people normally don't listen to the entire show. They listen to portions of the show. So to save on production time, and believe me, production is costly. What happens is we do a half an hour show, and then we go 4 shows back, and we run that as the second show. So you would think that someone would come in out of all the appointments I have from radio, and they'd say, you record that, don't you? Never. I've had it many times say, so you go down to the studio and record it? And no, I said, I just record it because we have our own studio, and we'll talk about that. It was called Studio in a Box. But those are the 3 components. And then what I do, I coach you. I have 3 coaching sessions with you. I kind of get you so you're ready to mic up. We practice on the show notes that you're actually going to use for the first one. So it isn't just giving you the blueprint of the turnkey plan. I am going to walk through and help you with that. Now, when we talk about turnkey, it is. I mean, it's very systematic, and it's working. We rolled this out. I went in for 6 months and tested it. It took me a couple months to kind of figure out what to say and how to say it and when to say it and how the offers work. But I'll tell you what, it's really going good. I mean, I am averaging over 2 set appointments every single weekend. And I can't, that. So if you go on in, you look at that, it's about 10 appointments a month are coming in. Now I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, a town of 800,000. If you're in a larger area, it very well might be more, or if you're on multiple stations. I am on 1 station right now. So what happens is that, no kidding, I mean, it gets in the email, it says it's a set appointment. I mean, it's like Christmas every weekend. I happen to have my show on 12 to 1 on Sunday, only because I could not get a Saturday time. I'm first in line for a Saturday time. We'd rather get Saturday to Sunday, but I've been extremely happy, and my rate of return, my ROI is extremely strong. I'm having that Sunday spot. So if there's any questions, type them in, and we will answer those here at the end. So talking about, it's a turnkey system, and I say super competitive negotiated at times. It's not just negotiated. And what happens is you've got someone leading you through. Interesting enough, 2 of the guys that are doing it right now have done radio before, but one of them, it was the same content over and over, and the other person did it himself for 4 years. But again, he doesn't have new content, and I listened to his show. He was just selling too much. He was going in and saying the same thing over and over, and our show has a lot of holistic information, and the offers are extremely strong. Okay? Now, building that brand is important. So does it come with the very first show? No. But I can't tell you. One of the people I met today, about 400,000 that could be available. We were going to a second appointment. So he said he would certainly consider of making a move. But he told me when he came in, he said, I've been listening to you for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And he said, I enjoy getting information. That's why, he said, I normally don't come into something like this, but that's why I came in. I think the material that we have is very good. You can also go in and publish on podcast or iTunes. I do. I haven't gotten any business from that yet. I certainly show clients of where I'm at on that, and they're impressed by that. There's a little upcharge of $50 or $100 a month, but if that's kind of you kind of like that social media, kind of up to date, then we certainly have that available. This just shows you what I get on my phone or on my computer by email right when the appointment is set. with Retirement Boss Radio by the Appointment Setting Call Center. That Appointment Setting Call Center, this is a high-end call center. I mean, those are better, much better than the average call center person, because they're setting an appointment, not just getting information. They are actually setting the appointment. And so when we started this and put this all together, knowing with Steve Murray, who was the co-host today, that's with IAMS, co-owner of IAMS, we knew that we would like to roll this out to the entire sales force. But my intention was to be successful first, and we always test marketing before we roll it out to the force. And so this shows IntelliForms. I mean, it came from the call center. And if you look at this box right here, so source was KFAB Radio in Omaha. Appointment was scheduled was yes. Appointment date, this one was March the 5th of 19. Appointment time 8:30. And don't you love this? What it says, it goes in and it says, turning 59 soon, hasn't settled on someone yet, meaning a financial advisor. He has a 401k that is seven-figured, meaning $1 million. Also had questions about Social Security. So it's really, really good. He has almost all of his money. He had at one time about a little over $1.05 million. It had gone down some at the end of last year, so he had like 979,000. But he turns 59 and a half. I remember this figure. He turns 59 and a half on October the 17th of this year. That's when he has an in-service non-hardship withdrawal provision on his plan. He'll be able to take a portion or all of this money out and still continue to work for the company. So I've stayed in contact with him twice since this. And he knows that he's excited to have me give him ideas of 500,000. We're not working with all of it, but we're going to work hopefully with 500,000 of it. I want to tell you right now, that's the perfect type of lead from Retirement Boss Radio. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, certainly give me a call. So, hosting your own show, we can help you do that. The really only out-of-pocket cost you have is the equipment. That's the mic. That's the headphones, and then we supply the software. You can go in and you can record from your office, from your home. Heck, if you want to record in the park, that's strictly up to you, but you can do it anywhere you want to. As long as you have a laptop computer and internet service, you are in. And I'm telling you what, this type of technology wasn't around 6-7 years ago, even 5-6 years ago. You had a great big old box, spend thousands of dollars for it. You can buy this from Amazon. We give you exactly what to buy. It costs you under $200, and we call it Studio in a Box. If you want to hear my some of my podcasts, 30-minute podcasts, I mean what I actually have on the show, go to www.retirementbossradio.com. retirementbossradio.com. That's our website, and you be able to listen and kind of hear the interaction with the host and what the subject matter is. And as we're closing those last couple slides, and we'll open it up to it'll be a poll. If you'd like to get information, then just mark yes. I will call. I mean, I don't personally. One of my three administrators do, but you'll be talking to me, not one of my assistants. You'll be talking to me, and about maybe the idea of in your area of radio. Remember this: radio is like real estate. It's location, location, location. But with radio, here's the three things you have to have. You have to have the right radio station. You have to have the right radio time, and you have to have the type of personality that you can come across as that celebrity expert with radio marketing. It says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes, does it? Don't let this happen to you. If you heard something today that goes in and perks your interest, yeah, mark yes on it. I'll leave you with this before we open the poll. Al Jolson, the actor, said, I'd like to do radio just like pictures, leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor. Well, the nice thing about our turnkey radio host program, you can go ahead and leave it on the cutting room floor because we're recorded at your convenience. Not at the convenience of one time each week stated by the radio station, but it sounds live, and there's live inbound appointment setting, the call center operators, and and they're very good at what they do. Are they perfect? No, but they're very good at what they do. Their goal is to go in and have you preset, qualified appointments every single week. And I'll tell you, in our business, that is gold. So I'm going to turn this over to Steve Murray. If there's any questions, certainly type them on in. And I know that we've got a couple, but we'll answer those for you. So let me roll this on over to Steve Murray.
Thanks, Dave. Great stuff as always. Really appreciate you taking some time and coming in. There are a couple of questions, and we will get to those momentarily. As Dave mentioned, we did put a poll up. So if you would like to have a conversation with Dave and talk a little bit about radio, that's great. Just put yes on that poll. It's okay if you don't as well. I know we've got a big group and a lot of diverse ways that you do business, and maybe radio doesn't perk your interest. That's okay too. Just vote no, if you will, on that poll. That will help us all, and we can get it finished up here. So I have a couple of questions, and I know Dave went through a little bit and talked about how the recording takes place, but there are a couple of questions about exactly how that works. You have to go to a radio station, what if there's a mistake? Can you do extra takes? I know Dave covered a little bit of that, but Dave, do you have just a second to kind of more in detail go over the recording, since we do have some questions about that?
Yeah, so what happens is you'll get a time on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of not the week before it airs, but actually 2 weeks before it airs. That's how long it takes to do the production, edit it, mix it, put the ads in, get the radio station, etc. And if you're securities licensed and you have a broker dealer, then of course it has to be there in time that compliance can okay that. And so what happens is that the content, I've redone all the show notes. You've got that, and you get that ahead of time. You get that like 5 days. You get it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week before, so you can go through. If you want to add something or take something from it, or you want to make sure you're touching on something, it's flexible. I would say keep 75, 80% of it the same. I always say this, when you're riding down the highway, you can get into the shoulder and you're just fine. You get those rumble strips, you're fine. You might even get in a touch of the grassy area, but if you get further out, bad stuff happens to you. That's what happens here too. You want to follow the track. Our subject, like this, the subject matter of the one coming up this weekend, it's about the Secure Act. It's about going in with required minimum distributions, which is one of my 15 hot topics that we talk about, RMDs, where they're looking at taking that from 70 and a half up to the age of 72. And there's 3 or 4 other key things, but one of our entire segments is about the new Secure Act that's been passed by Congress and hoping to be passed by Senate. Who's been talking about that? Nobody. No one's talking about that right now. But you know what? We are. We're going to talk about that on radio. It's going to get people's interest. Now, that information alone does not go in and put that person into action to pick up that phone and say, I want an appointment. So then we have specific topics with that and bullet points in offers to bring that person on in. So it's a pretty fine-tuned machine. So what happens is that you, on your turf, then you get together by software, and I just go to www.retirementbossradio.com. I'm going to tell you, it sounds live, and I'm doing that from my office, and this guy's thousands of miles away co-hosting it. It's like he's just there. 10 years ago, to make it sound like that, you had to have your own radio studio. So anyway, so hopefully that helps you a little bit. Second, we had a question here. It says, should you be securities licensed content-wise? No. Nope. I'm going to say, because we have folks who are not securities licensed that are doing very well within the show. And I'll say this is that the content of the show, in general form, let's think about where money comes from. I mean, if you're insurance licensed, you know what, if you went in and said, where did most of my money come from? I doubt you'd say, well, the majority of my money comes from CDs. The majority of my money comes from money markets. The majority of my money comes from other annuities or insurance products. I bet you'd say that the majority of your money probably came from a 401k that has mutual funds, or a 403b, or an IRA. So as long as you talk generally, can't give specifics, can't say specific stock names or fund names, but you can do that legally with your license. So what happens is that I'm in the broker dealer world, so I can't say the word guarantee. I can't say the word insured. They don't like, I can do it with Social Security because it's not a security, but they don't want me to do that because they don't have to give all the disclosure of what happens. I can't say income for life that is guaranteed. But if you're just insurance licensed, or even if you're an investment advisor rep or a registered investment advisor, you certainly may be able to do that. So what happens is, you've got to go in and take those show notes. And what you'll do is, if guarantees is your business, you are going to talk more in there. You're going to put into the subject matter. And I can certainly help you do that. I'm doing that with one of my agents right now, and he's having very, very good success. So do you have to be securities licensed? Of course not. Does it help me? Yeah, it does, because I've always been security licensed. It makes me, I feel like I'm more holistic. But I'll tell you right now, if I was just insurance licensed and I was doing Retirement Boss Radio, there's no doubt I'd have a lot more conventional insurance, a lot more fixed index annuity, a lot more fixed annuity, because those are the products, long-term care, hybrid products, because that's the type of licenses that I have, and you're still helping the client. So hopefully that helps you. I have another question here. I share office space with 3 different attorneys. I'm sorry. Do you often have guest appearances by other professionals? You can. I don't. I do want to run the show. I know exactly where I'm going. I can't tell you the 500 public seminars that I mentioned that I've just done in the last almost 40 years. I've had attorneys help me with it. I have had CPAs. I've had insurance agents. I had an IRS agent. I've had all kinds of people. And I want to tell you what, I don't think ever it helped me close business. I close business for them, but I know exactly where I'm going with the show. But if you want to have, when I had live radio, I had some guest hosts on, and I was gone some of those weeks. And of course, I had a guest host, but I like to run the show myself. But if you want to have another person and to go on in, yeah. And I'll go through, if you're getting really serious, of kind of the good things and bad things of that, but you certainly could. Yeah, you could. Here's another question too. They asked, what are you averaging for appointments per month? So I did mention that to you also, in that I'm averaging between 2 and 3 appointments a week, which comes out to 10 to 12, 13 appointments a month. I'm pretty darn consistent with that. And not everyone who calls sets the appointment, but then we call everybody back on Monday morning. And if they have an appointment, we say, thanks a lot for listening. That appointment time works. Or but we also have it's like an online interactive calendar that's free. And my administrators on Friday for 6 weeks out, they go in and just block off time. They don't say who my appointments are with, but they block off time. And then the call center has that also, so hardly ever does it double up. So that's kind of nice. We have one last question, and then we'll kind of wrap it on up. Yeah, have I made money over my costs? Yeah, I have. I absolutely have. My ROI is extremely good. I'll tell you what, this is a great story. And of course it's true, because Dave Pember's telling it. So what happens is, this is about my 2nd month of doing this, and my media buyer says, hey, I got an hour out in it's a town in Oregon. In Oregon, I'll say it was Medford, Oregon. Where I've never been there. I've been to Oregon, but I don't know where Medford is. They said, and he's starting next week, and we have an open hour. Can we use one of your past shows? And there's no cost to it. And I said, sure. Well, all of a sudden on my phone on a Saturday, I see that 2 calls are coming on in. This is before we had any other people, because I see everybody's appointments. And you know what? It was 2 calls coming in that were set appointments by phone from Medford, Oregon. Well, I had no idea. I thought, well, you know what? They're going cross country. It's in 2 different cars. By chance, they were listening to the show. I had no idea. And I called the first one, and she says, no, I heard you on the local station. And then it all rang a bell to me. But of the 2, one just wanted some Social Security information, which I helped him with. But the other one, that was like 5 months ago or 4 months ago. That's how long it took. But you know what? Yeah, we went in and we wrote business yesterday. We wrote 125,000. So it certainly wasn't a big deal. And she texted me last night and said, I'm certainly happy that we met. You know what? And she's 2,000 miles away from me. I was talking about Omaha, Nebraska through probably that entire thing. She still called in and we went and wrote business. No, it's been my business, and I've been in the business for a long time. For my business to be up, it's hard each year, but my business is up substantially. And the reason is because of radio. So is radio for everyone? Of course it's not. Is radio a guarantee that you're going to up your production? Of course it isn't. But I tell you what, if you do it the right way, you follow the track, get some good coaching, you know, which I give that, and I'm not pounding my chest. I'm just saying it's easier to go in and be successful if someone's there helping you and hand holding you. Yeah, it's great. So I'm going to turn this on over. I think we're done with the questions. I'm going to turn this on over. Well, do we have one more question? We do. Okay, it just came up. How many shows before you started generating leads? What percentage of those are tire kickers? Yeah, we certainly get, I don't know if they're tire kickers because they're actually wanting information. My first show, I got no calls. My second show, I got 2 calls, no appointments. My third show, I got 2 calls, no appointments. My fourth show, I got 5 calls and 3 appointments, and it really started after a month. So it took me a month. It took me the 4th week to but you know what? We're not, and I enjoy radio. I enjoy talking. I mean, I certainly have good subject matter, but it took me a while to figure out all those components and how they work together. And now I've made kind of what the hot list is of information. So it's going to take you a while, but I hope we can get you up and going faster than what I did, because I was kind of the tester out there. So and I know what's worked and what hasn't worked, but it certainly does take you a while. The co-host and you, and to get that kind of that camaraderie going, and kind of getting that kind of happy place where you're both going back and forth and there isn't hesitation and pauses. But remember this, it's radio. It is recorded radio. So when you make a mistake, and I certainly say things or make a mistake, I kind of, my brain went away a little bit. I couldn't remember a fact on Social Security that I say every day. I just said to my co-host, hold on. I looked it up. I said, okay, I know it now. You can't do that with live radio. So, yeah, I would say that it will take 3-4 weeks really to get up and rolling, but I hope that we start getting phone calls the very first week, a little different than myself, because hopefully you're going to pass some of the hurdles that knocked me over in the very, very beginning. So here's Steve Murray, and then we'll be closing this up in the next couple minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Great stuff as always. Appreciate you handling those questions as they came in. It's really great to get that immediate feedback for the guys out there that are wondering about how this is going to work exactly. So certainly if there might be another question that has not been asked that you might have. What I hope you'll do is give us a call here, and we'll get you in touch with Dave if we can't answer it for you. I know that there are a number of you, and it's difficult for us to answer this question, but I know there are a number of you that have questions about your particular area and availability. So that's just an individual call. So I would encourage you to give us a call or give Dave a call, and we will find that information out for you as quickly as we can, availability and cost for your area. That's certainly a big factor. I know Dave is giving you some ideas of what the cost would be. There's some variation there for sure. So that being said, we're just about finished up here. I've closed the poll out. I'm going to give your 800 number one more time, and then I think Dave has something he wants to add, and then we'll probably see you all next Tuesday, if not before. Our number here, as I mentioned, 800-255-5055. And with that, I'm going to turn over one final time to Dave Pipper.
I heard Steve talk about cost. I was remiss because I didn't cover cost. And so, yeah, so I'm sorry about that. I kind of got going today a little bit. From a seminar standpoint, it really isn't that same amount of cost that a normal seminar, a monthly seminar would be for the month. So what happens though, it depends on the area and it depends on the station. I've seen monthly costs as little as $2,000 a month. And I tell you what, for everything that you're getting, that's pretty incredible. I've seen costs as high as $7,000 a month, but I think the sweet spot is from $2,800 to maybe $4,500 in that neighborhood. That's about what you're looking for the monthly cost. And so, if it costs $4,000 and you're getting 10 qualified leads, that's about $400 per lead, not lead, and I called it lead, but for appointment. And I'll tell you, if you go on out and you take an outside service that's never heard your voice, they've never heard you on radio and kind of that feeling of celebrity, it's going to cost you $350, $400 a lead. I mean, IAMS, and they have other lead generation and appointment generations, but I'm an old timer. I believe if you can go in and someone can listen to you in that seminar and then they want to talk to you, they can listen to you by radio and then they want to talk to you. I can assure you the foundation of that, the qualification of that appointment, that lead, is stronger. And that's why I'm a big believer of doing your own marketing and not have someone doing the marketing for you and just handing you the lead. So thank you very, very much. You know what? People are committed who are here on a Friday afternoon. It's actually raining here, so it doesn't make me feel bad, but it's probably sunny where you are. But have a great weekend, and I hope I can talk to a lot of folks about hosting your own radio show. Thank you. Have a good weekend.